Do you find that you are distracted on a regular basis? Can't keep a steady schedule towards your fitness, towards your health? If that is the case, then today's live broadcast is for you. My name is Ryan Sanders, and I'm the owner and lead coach of Project Fresh. For over the last 13 years, I've helped people take control of their health, optimize performance, and build sustainable habits that stick. As a certified strength and conditioning specialist and a certified sports nutrition coach, I've worked with everyone from busy professionals to to athletes, coaching them through the science and real world challenges of fitness and nutrition. Here, I share the stories, the lessons, and the strategies that make long-term wellness possible. So, as I mentioned to get started, if you find yourself being distracted on a regular basis, and it may not be that you say, I'm distracted. What it might be is that you are going to work out and you have that intention, you have that desire, or I'm going to eat well. And then something else pops up. It could be procrastination. It could be a very busy schedule. It could be just unforeseen circumstances. It could be individuals in your life that don't understand or realize what it is you're trying to achieve. There's a myriad of different things that could take place that turn into distractions. That is what we're talking about today. Over the weekend, I had this video pop up on my TikTok stream. A gentleman named Myron Golden, if you've ever seen him before, he's got some really solid content. I've actually heard him speak live. I went to an event where he was a roundtable leader, and so I got to stand at his table and listen to him speak. A lot of his teachings are based on the Bible. He likes to reference Solomon from mostly from the book of Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. Primarily is usually what he references in regards to Solomon. But there was one particular thing that he said about why certain people look like they are successful, and that they're not only successful, they're making it look effortless, versus those who are grinding their face off effectively and ending up with very little, right? And that was, he said, his main point is that they hyper focus on intention and ignore keyword distractions, right? Okay, and so that was the key piece that he said, and I think the piece here for me is that really stands out is ignoring distractions. That's actually something that we're actively working on right now. We've been making some fairly significant changes. I won't say they were huge, but just different things that allow me to effectively dial in with the business, right? And if I haven't likened this to any of our posts in the past, I find that fitness and business are very similar in the sense that there are specific things that need to be done for you to have a successful business. Now, in the context of business, are there things like unforeseen, challenges or unforeseen wins where someone or something pops up and it makes the process of business that much more manageable and I wouldn't want to say simpler. Yeah, makes it more simple to keep the daily cadence going. Yes. Is that the case with fitness? Not so much, but ultimately the discipline that's required is similar between the two. And so in the context of distractions, certain things I'm working on right now are, for example, the desk that I sit at, that I do these Monday Lunch Lives at, that I work at on a regular basis. I had the receipts over here. I had papers and cards and all kinds of stuff on top of my printer. I had a ton. I probably had at least 50 business cards underneath my monitor. I had all just kinds of different things strewn across this desk. And at any given point in time, any one of those things, I had like 5 or 10 to-do lists over here checked off. And there was just stuff everywhere, right? So was it easy for me to focus on one thing? No. And then if I look at my actual computer screen, I've got multiple tabs open across several windows, and that's never easy to stay focused on one thing. And so I realized just in the space that I'm trying to get some serious work done, I have a lot of clutter. I have a lot of distraction here. And so declutter, remove stuff that's out of the way. If your workout space is shared with any other activity or task, meaning you don't go to a gym that is designated just for working out, you've got to take all the distractions out of there so you can stay focused. Same thing with your gym. Like currently working on cleaning up our kitchen table. There's some folders and some newsletters and some different things that I plan to bring back into the office. I've cleared out a space here where it's going to be specific for all those newsletters and different things. That's actually for our Shackley stuff, where every month we have a new newsletter that goes out. And I've got like 7 or 8 newsletters that have not gone out to clients. It's sat on the table. I look at it while I eat dinner. And instead of doing anything about it, I'm at the end of my day eating dinner, right? Instead of putting those into practice. So I've got a space for them with all of my envelopes and different things. So now there's a designated space for that. So I can just sit at the table and enjoy dinner and not think about it. Because with dinner comes, obviously I want to have a nice conversation with the missus. If I'm tracking calories, all of a sudden I'm quickly plugging numbers into our Project Fresh app to track what's the macros and the calories for the day. And then there's that stack of business stuff there too. So now I'm distracted again, right? Multiple things. If I got my phone in my hand, very easy for a notification to pop up and me to find myself, watching a few videos on Instagram because I saw someone chatting, right? Distracted. Okay. And so I'm being very intentional about distractions. So I would say the moral of point number 1 is paying attention to your environment and making sure it's conducive to what you want to do. Number 2, it could actually be flipped with number 1, is just being aware of the fact that you're distracted and admitting to it. That is exactly what I'm doing right now, what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. All the things that I'm doing, were they hyper-focused with intention and ignoring distractions related to the vision, the mission, the plan for what Project Fresh is? Absolutely not. I was spending time building someone else's business. That was actually more of a distraction than anything. Probably mostly because it just wasn't in alignment with how I want business to go in this world of fitness and nutrition. And more importantly, it was such a roller coaster that there was the inconsistency that became a distraction as well. So I'd say being aware of it and identifying it and claiming it, or I should say owning it, is very important. And number 2, creating environments where you can stay focused and stay dialed in. And then number 3, I mentioned this before, but if there are individuals that are a part of this, I think the hardest part about being distracted in the relationship, in the context of relationships, which is a part of what we do at Project Fresh, is we mean well when we want to communicate that there are scenarios with these relationships that may be causing distractions, but the communication and the way in which we deliver it is very challenging, right? And so it can come across as, hey, when you do X, it's really distracting. And a lot of times it'll translate to, you are a distraction. You are a distraction to me. You are causing me to be distracted. You're getting in my way. And of course, that's never anything great to hear. And so spending time getting good at communicating with people, especially if they're very close to you, that 1, you love them, you care about them, you want them in your life. But 2, there is a fine dividing line in the context of you don't own their stuff. If there are things that they're doing that they're not addressing, you can love someone, but not own their stuff, what they're going through. And so creating, some people call it a boundary, or just very simply communication to express that, to say, hey, I love you, I care about you. I've got a mission, a vision, a purpose. I'm going to love you, but also need to stay focused, right? Creating that communication to say that in some way, some shape, somehow is very important because your calling, what you've been called to do, really matters, right? It really, really matters. They matter, but also what you're called to do matters too. We're all called and designed and purposed and provisioned with resources, with skill sets, with experiences. Think about all the things you've experienced in your life leading up to this point. All of that, as one of our pastors used to say, is the coursework, is there's another word to use that's not coming to my mind, but basically that's all that you can now use and carry forward into what you're experiencing today in life and what you're called to do, what you're designed to do, what your purpose is. So it's very important for you to fulfill your mission. There's graveyards full of people that never, ever achieved their mission, never experienced the vision, never scratched that itch of what they really, truly wanted to do with their lives. And now, unfortunately, they're gone, and none of us can experience what was inside, right? And so this third one is, a lot of times I find those interpersonal dynamics and conversations and challenges can easily be a consistent and unfortunately nagging distraction that can take you away from keeping, as we defined at the beginning of this, and I'll wrap up at this point, keeping to that intensity, to that full focus of, let's see, where did that go? I think I actually switched over. Yeah, there it is. Keeping focused on that intention, right? So all that being said, these are three different things that I'm personally working through. And I wanted to speak it out because I think when I do, it helps me to solidify and further internalize what it is that I'm working on. So again, being aware of it, claiming it, owning it, speaking out, and telling others. So kind of telling on myself, been distracted, right? Two, being aware of the environments as far as your desk, your workout space, whatever it is. So if you want to lose those 20 pounds, do you have a space dedicated to fitness? Do you have a space dedicated to eating well? Do you have a space dedicated to sleeping well? Do you have a space dedicated to managing and reducing your stress? Do you have, number three, people who are a distraction? And if so, have those conversations, have that communication. But one thing I didn't mention for number three that just came to mind and was on mind a little bit, maybe 2 minutes ago, was, do you have individuals who are running in parallel with you, in alignment with you, who are doing the same work as you? Because when you have two together, man, that makes such a great experience, or more. It makes a huge difference. So all that being said today is, I want to talk about the topic of distractions and how much it can take you away from seeing the success you want to see. And, success was defined, actually, Myron Golden got into that. He said, success is discovering God's purpose for your life, developing yourself for that purpose, and deploying yourself in that purpose. I thought that was a pretty cool definition of success. And that kind of placates right back into what we were talking about, which was, do I know what I was designed to do, what I was called to do, what I was purposed to do? Do I develop the skill sets and everything else I need to go do that? And then deploy myself into that on a regular basis. And oftentimes, deploying yourself or doing it, going and doing the things, can be held up by distractions. So that being said, this is Ryan with Project Fresh. This is our Monday Launch Live. We do this every Monday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we will see you guys here on our next one here in a week. Thanks for watching. We don't have any necessarily takeaways today, but for the comments, if there's anything that you guys relate with, go ahead and drop it in the comments for this. We'll get the replay up on Instagram here shortly. We'd love to hear what you're dealing with or working with related to distractions and how you believe that might be taking you away from that ideal lifestyle. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Hope you have yourselves